the word book editor, is the first thing that flashes through your mind scary thoughts from 7th grade English class of diagramming sentences and a teacher with a red pen marking up all of your papers? I'm here to tell you today that copy editing is a lot more than that, and it's a lot less scary too. Hi there, Jodi Brandon of Jodi Brandon Editorial. I am a book writing coach, book editor, and publishing consultant, and I work with creative entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, bloggers, and small business owners who want to scale their business using a book. And today we're talking about copy editing, which is probably what you think of when you hear the word book editor. That's what most people think of. There are other kinds of editors, which we've talked about in other videos. I'll link a couple of those below. But a copy editor is what most people are thinking of when they hear the word book editor thrown around. So what does a copy editor actually do? Well, they're looking at a micro view of your manuscript. Rather than, big picture above the clouds, bird's eye view, like a developmental editor does, they're in the weeds. They're looking sentence by sentence, line by line to make sure that your manuscript flows. They're looking for things like tone of voice. Is it appropriate for your intended audience? Consistency. Do you spell out numbers 1 through 10? Do you spell out numbers 1 through 50? Do you hyphenate certain words? Whatever the treatment of certain words is, you want to make sure that's consistent throughout your manuscript so that it's an easy read for your readers. They're looking for clarity of your message, making sure that what you hope readers take away from the book is what they actually do end up taking away. They're looking, of course, for the things that you're thinking of when you think of the word book editor: grammar, spelling, punctuation, mechanics, word usage, all of those, things that probably, if you didn't love 7th grade English class, send you, to hide under the covers. Copy editors love those things. We loved 7th grade English. I have a nephew who is in 7th grade, as a matter of fact, and he is diagramming sentences right now, which I didn't even know kids still did in school. And he cannot for the life of him figure out why he has to diagram sentences. And we talk, he lives on the other side of the country, and we talk on Skype, and I make him show me his diagrammed sentences, and he thinks it's completely silly. But copy editors love diagramming sentences. We love all of that stuff. So you don't need to worry about it because your copy editor will. Another thing they're looking for is flow. Is the text, does it flow naturally? Is it disjointed? That sort of thing. So they're not looking for the big picture, oh, you should really be talking about this in the book and you don't mention it at all. They're looking for low level, more nitty-gritty, line by line to make sure that readers are getting out of the book what you hope that they'll get out of the book. And so the reason it's important to know what a copy editor does is because, like I said, most people think that there's only one kind of editor, and that's a copy editor. And that's not always the case. There's lots of different kinds, and they do different things. And so it's important when you write a book that you know what kind of editor your project needs. Not just what kind of editor you want for your project, but what kind of editor your project needs. Maybe you're having trouble with the big picture structure and you need a developmental editor. Don't write that whole book and then hire a copy editor thinking they're going to help you fix that. That's not what they do. That would be a job for a developmental editor, and they usually come into the process earlier, either before you're writing or during the writing, whereas a copy editor generally comes in after your manuscript is finished and written. And a copy editor also is not the same as a proofreader. So a proofreader is doing also line by line, but they're really just looking for things that got missed. So, and a proofread is done right before it's sort of, a lot of us call it a last look or a last read. So the book is already laid out. It's about to be printed or uploaded to, CreateSpace or iBooks or whatever. If it's an ebook, it's one last look through to make sure nothing got missed, nothing wonky happened during the design process, but it's really, you're not fixing anything at that point other than, like typos and that sort of thing. So that is what a copy editor does, and that's why it's important that you know what kind of editor you need for your project so that you hire the right person, so that you produce the best book that you can, so that you can thus serve your business, which is the whole point of your writing a book. So if you have any questions about copy editing specifically or editing in general, let me know in the comments below. If you are not subscribed, I would love to have you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.